Hello, and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Lok Sabha passes Waqf Amendment Bill 2025, which seeks to amend the Waqf Act 1995. Supreme Court condemns prolonged inaction by speakers on defection petitions. India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement celebrates 3rd anniversary of signing. Concerns raised against Green Credit Program rolled out by the Ministry of Environment. Over 30,000 Indian parents are waiting for adoption, says Centre. In our first news for the day, the Lok Sabha has passed the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025, which seeks to amend the Waqf Act 1995. Alongside this, the House has also approved the Mussalman Waqf Repeal Bill 2024, which officially repeals the Mussalman Waqf Act 1923. Let's take a closer look at the key highlights of the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025. The focus of the bill is to ensure better management of Waqf properties, empower stakeholders, and improve the efficiency of surveys. One of the key provisions of the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 is that only a lawful property owner can create a Waqf. Additionally, the creation of a Waqf Alal Aulad or family Waqf cannot override or deny the inheritance rights of heirs, including women. To ensure transparency and accountability, the bill mandates that all Waqf properties must be registered on an online portal within 6 months, with an extension granted only by the Waqf Tribunal if necessary. The bill also provides safeguards against wrongful declaration of Waqf property. It explicitly states that government property cannot be deemed Waqf property in cases of disputes regarding whether a property belongs to the government. A designated officer appointed by the state government will conduct an inquiry and submit a report. Furthermore, the bill strengthens oversight by stipulating that inspection of Waqf records will be governed under Section 75 of the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam 2023. Additionally, in cases where Waqf properties are acquired for public purposes, such acquisitions must comply with the right to fair compensation and transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013 or any other relevant land acquisition law if such acquisition is made in consultation with the Waqf Board. Another significant aspect of the bill is the restructuring of the Central Waqf Council, where the Union Minister in charge of Waqf will serve as the ex officio chairperson. The Council will have the authority to issue directives to Waqf boards and will also possess suo motu powers. The members of the Council will include members of Parliament, judges of the Supreme Court or High Court, and other relevant experts. Waqf, in essence, is a charitable endowment where individuals donate property for religious or social welfare purposes, such as the construction of schools, mosques, and hospitals. Waqf is an Arabic word and its history is linked to the Hadiths. Historically, in 8th century CE India, Waqf properties were managed by provincial and district officers, such as the Sadr-e-Subha and Sadr-e-Sarkar, though the central authority had ultimate control. The modern interpretation of Waqf as it is understood today emerged during the era of Hazrat Umar, the second Caliph of Islam. By introducing these amendments, the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 aims to bring greater transparency, accountability, and efficiency in the administration of Waqf properties, while safeguarding the interest of stakeholders. Moving on, the Supreme Court has strongly condemned the prolonged inaction by speakers in dealing with anti-defection petitions, stating that indecision cannot be used to undermine the worthy objective of the 10th schedule of the Constitution. The key legal issues before the court was whether Constitutional Court can direct speakers acting as quasi-judicial authorities to decide disqualification petitions within a fixed time frame. To provide some context, the anti-defection law was introduced through the 52nd Amendment Act 1985, adding the 10th schedule to the Indian Constitution to curb political defections. The primary purpose of this law is to maintain stability in legislatures by preventing arbitrary party switching by elected representatives. Under this law, a member of the House can be disqualified on two main grounds: voluntary giving up party membership, or defying the party whip during voting. The Speaker or Chairperson plays a crucial role in the implementation of this law, acting as a quasi-judicial authority responsible for deciding disqualification petitions and serving as the final arbiter in the disqualification process. Now, let's dive into Supreme Court's observations. The Supreme Court made it clear that it is not powerless in cases where the Speaker remains indecisive on disqualification petitions. While the court cannot dictate the outcome of disqualification petitions, it does have the authority to set a reasonable deadline for the Speaker to act. A precedent for this was established in Kesham Meghachandra Singh versus Speaker, Manipur Legislative Assembly 2020. The court also emphasized that if the Speaker fails to take action, the Supreme Court can invoke its extraordinary powers under Article 142 of the Constitution to ensure justice is served. Beyond addressing delays, the court highlighted several broader concerns about the implementation of the anti-defection law. It reaffirmed that judicial review over the Speaker's decisions is necessary to prevent indefinite delays, as ruled in Kihoto Holohan versus Zachilu 1992. Additionally, the court stressed that the Speaker must act as a neutral adjudicator rather than a political figure, referencing Ravi S. Nayak versus Union of India 1994. A significant suggestion made by the court was the possibility of transferring disqualification powers from the Speaker to an independent tribunal, as debated in the Karnataka MLA's disqualification case 2020. With these observations, the Supreme Court has reinforced the need for accountability and efficiency in handling disqualification petitions, ensuring that the anti-defection law serves its intended purposes of maintaining the integrity of India's democratic institutions.
Moving ahead, a significant milestone in India-Australia trade relations as the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement or IA-ECTA celebrates its third anniversary since signing. This strategic economic agreement, signed and implemented in 2022, has already shown promising results. In 2023-24, bilateral trade reached a substantial $24 billion, with India's exports to Australia growing by an impressive 14% compared to the previous year. Now let's take a closer look at what makes IA-ECTA a landmark agreement. One of the most significant aspects of this agreement is tariff elimination. Under IA-ECTA, tariffs have been removed on 85% of Australian goods exported to India and 96% of Indian goods sent to Australia. To ensure fairness, the agreement includes strict rules of origin, preventing third-party goods from enjoying preferential treatment under IA-ECTA. Moving on to services trade, Australia has opened 135 subsectors while India has opened 103 subsectors, facilitating stronger business collaborations between the two nations. Additionally, a safeguard mechanism is in place to protect against any sudden import surges, ensuring economic stability for both countries. Dispute resolution is another crucial aspect of the agreement. If any trade-related issues arise, consultations and negotiations serve as the first step. If unresolved, a three-member arbitral panel is formed, with each country appointing one member and a mutually agreed chair overseeing the panel. While IA-ECTA has made remarkable progress, some challenges remain. The prolonged negotiations over the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement or CECA continue to be a concern, along with non-trade barriers such as sanitary and phytosanitary standards and technical barriers. Additionally, Australia's pharmaceutical pricing control, particularly on generics, poses a challenge for Indian pharmaceutical companies looking to expand their market access. Despite these challenges, IA-ECTA is expected to drive economic growth between the two nations. The agreement aims to increase bilateral trade from $31 billion in 2021 to $40 to $50 billion within the next 5 years. India's exports are projected to rise from $10.5 billion in 2021 to $20 billion by 2026-27 and to exceed $35 billion by 2035. Furthermore, IA-ECTA serves as a stepping stone for the ambitious AI-CECA or Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, which would further deepen economic ties beyond goods and services to cover intellectual property rights, digital trade, and more. With 3 years of progress and a promising future ahead, the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement stands as a testament to the strengthening economic partnership between the two nations.
Now, we turn our focus to the Green Credit Program or GCP, recently rolled out by the Ministry of Environment. Designed as a voluntary mechanism to encourage plantation activities, this program aims to award green credits while creating an inventory of degraded land for afforestation efforts. The Green Credit Program was unveiled by the Prime Minister at COP28 in December 2023. The purpose of the program is to incentivize pro-environment actions and support the Mission Life initiative. Key features of the program include covering 7 activities such as tree plantation and waste management. The credits generated under this program can be traded on a domestic platform and used for compensatory afforestation and fulfilling regulatory requirements. Companies can also include these credits in their ESG disclosures. The program is administered by the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Dehradun. In terms of eligibility, each identified land parcel must be at least 5 hectares in size. But while the initiative may sound promising, it has sparked legal debates and environmental concerns. So, what are these concerns? Let's take a closer look. Moving first to legal scrutiny, experts argue that the GCP lacks a strong legal foundation. The Environment Protection Act of 1986, under which the program has been notified, does not provide a legal framework for tradable green credits. This raises significant questions about its legitimacy. Beyond legal concerns, environmentalists have also raised red flags. One major criticism is that the program could incentivize forest diversion, allowing companies to purchase green credits instead of restoring forests. This in turn could weaken essential environmental safeguards. Another concern, the risk to degraded lands. The GCP promotes plantations on open forests, scrublands, and wastelands, landscapes that already serve important ecological functions. Experts fear that converting these areas into plantations could harm biodiversity rather than enhance it. Adding to the controversy, the program does not necessarily increase overall forest cover. Unlike compensatory afforestation, which mandates converting non-forest land into new forests, the GCP allows plantations on already degraded forest lands. This means that despite new plantings, there is no net gain in forested areas. And then there's a legal contradiction. The GCP appears to conflict with the Van Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam 2023, which strictly mandates land-for-land compensatory afforestation. But the concerns don't stop there. Long-term sustainability is another key issue. The methodology used in the GCP lacks clear evaluation criteria, especially when it comes to tree survivability. Without a proper system to assess whether plantations actually thrive, failed afforestation efforts could still be rewarded with credits. So, as discussions around the Green Credit Program continue, legal experts and environmentalists are calling for a re-evaluation of its framework. Will these concerns be addressed? Only time will tell.
A pressing issue in India's child welfare system has come to light. Over 30,000 Indian parents are currently waiting to adopt a child. This information was shared by the Minister of State for Women and Child Development in the Rajya Sabha. At the same time, a total of 62,592 children are currently residing in childcare institutions, including open shelters, specialized adoption agencies, and observation homes. Now, let's take a closer look at how child adoption works in India. The nodal ministry overseeing child adoption is the Union Ministry of Women and Child Development. The primary legislation governing the process is the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 or JJ Act. This law ensures the safety, security, dignity and well-being of children in need of care and protection. The Central Adoption Resource Authority or CARA functions as the nodal central agency for adoption. Established under the JJ Act, CARA regulates both domestic and inter-country adoptions and ensures compliance with the Hague Convention on Protection of Children and Cooperation in Respect and Inter-Country Adoption 1993. This convention plays a crucial role in making international adoptions ethical, legal, and transparent while preventing child trafficking. While the central agencies provide regulation, states and UTs are responsible for implementing the JJ Act. This is done through institutions such as State Adoption Resource Agency or SARA, local child welfare committees, and district child protection units or DCPUs. But despite these frameworks, several challenges persist. Bureaucratic delays mean the average waiting period for adoption remains over a year. Additionally, age and ability bias affect adoption rates, with older children and those with disabilities facing lower chances of finding a family. Moreover, societal prejudices play a major role. Many Indian families still prefer biological children, holding on to traditional beliefs about genetics, bloodline, and lineage. Recognizing these issues, the government has introduced several reforms. The Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Rules 2022 have empowered district magistrates to handle adoption-related matters, streamlining the process. The adoption process has also been made fully online and transparent through the Carings portal. And to further support children living in childcare institutions, the government has launched the Mission Vatsalya scheme. While these steps aim to address the challenges, the long wait list and social perceptions continue to be hurdles in ensuring every child finds a loving home.
In today's Personality in News, we turn our focus to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. April 3rd marks the 345th death anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who passed away on this day in 1680 at Raigad Fort. Born in 1630 at Chivneri Fort, Pune, Shivaji Maharaj was the founder of the Maratha Empire in Western India. In 1674, he crowned himself at Raigad, ushering in the Rajabhisheka era. He established the Ashtapradhan, a council of 8 members to aid in governance. Recognizing the need for maritime defense, he laid the foundation of the Maratha naval force in 1654 near Kalyan and went on to build multiple fortified naval bases along the western coastline. Renowned for his guerrilla warfare tactics, he famously defeated Afzal Khan in 1659.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025 has been passed by Parliament. The objective of this bill is to modernize immigration laws, enhance national security, and improve coordination among immigration authorities. The composite FHI has been developed using data from the Comptroller and Auditor General of India or CAG, covering the financial year 2022-23. FHI is an initiative by Niti Aayog with the objective of conducting a comparative analysis of fiscal health across Indian states through a standardized metric. The revised Domestically Manufactured Iron and Steel Products Policy 2025 has been published to provide preference to domestically manufactured iron and steel products in government procurement. The policy aims to prioritize homegrown steel in government contracts, introduce a reciprocal clause to counter trade restrictions, and mandate domestic value addition for capital goods. A study titled "How Does Climate Change Impact Women and Children Across Agroecological Zones in India?" released by Union Ministry of Women and Child Development, highlights the need for gender disaggregated data to formulate robust policies on climate-induced disasters. The US President announced reciprocal 10% tariffs on several US trade partners, including Heard and McDonald Islands. The President called April 2 Liberation Day, declaring it as one of the most important days in American history. The Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has indicated the possibility of adapting the National Polio Surveillance Project or NPSP to monitor emerging infectious diseases. The NPSP, a collaborative initiative between the Government of India and the WHO. A US national was arrested in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands for allegedly entering the prohibited tribal reserve area of North Sentinel Island. This island, which is part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is home to the indigenous Sentinels people, a Negrito tribe and one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world. Rare copper plates documenting Devaraya's first coronation have been unveiled in Bengaluru. These plates belonging to the Vijayanagar Empire are inscribed in Sanskrit and Kannada using Nagari characters.
Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.